Crichlows.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd like to acknowledge a real or perceived conflict of interest due to me being a life member and patron of the Gold Coast Show Society. But I'm going to stay in the room and I'll certainly vote on this issue.
So, Crichlows.
Mr Mayor, I don't think you can talk about the show like this as a simple entity on its own. The state government gave $11 million to the Turf Club to build a exhibition centre for the Gold Coast Show. And under that deed of grant, the Turf Club had to hand that exhibition centre over to the show 10 days before the show. They haven't done it on any occasion, I don't believe. But not only that, Mr Mayor, there was a 33-year lease of the offices at the show from the Turf Club to the Show Society, and also I think about 685 square metres of storage space as well. So I think that you have to look at it together. It's no use saying, well, just we think that it's no good there, let them walk away from the $11 million that the state gave them and the 33-year lease, which could turn back into a bar area or whatever. The Turf Club would benefit by the show not being there. But the people of the Gold Coast won't benefit because they've missed out on their show holiday, obviously, if there's no show here on the Gold Coast. They'll miss out on their show holiday. And what do we want? The Gold Coast show holiday to maybe go up to Brisbane for their show holiday? We don't. I don't think it's good enough that we do it this.
We'll deal with one item at a time, if you don't mind, Councillor Crichlows, because there are answers to those questions as we move ahead. So let's just go back to regarding the Gold Coast Show Society, the office space or storage space. That's a agreement between the Turf Club and the Gold Coast Show Society. Our decision there can't influence that one way or another. So the society will still maintain their asset, right? They're not being stripped of that.
No, it's not.
Hold a second. The second point regarding the Gold Coast Show holidays, that's why I'm going to be putting to you, should we consider an alternate venue so that the Gold Coast Show holidays remained in the city, right? So that part of it is not, we haven't given that up either. But however, if, for instance, this motion gets defeated, well, then the next question is like, okay, we're leaving the show there. Now who wants to tear up Gold Coast Ratepayers Fund to at the very least fund it further? That's the question. If as council is going, yeah, we don't mind putting Ratepayers Fund in there and continue to fund that way, well, that's up to the full council to do. I'm just going, if we're going to do this and then we continue on with another venue, which I want to present to council, but if council don't want to do that, then that's fine. It stops.
But under the agreement with the Turf Club and the Show Society and the 33-year lease, the minute the show, if there's not a show there in 2018, that agreement is null and void. They would have to give up those offices and that storeroom. I've read the agreement.
We're not party to that. That's between the two.
It's between the ratepayers of this city.
That's precisely where it's important, because if you're to fund 80,000 now, that just brings it, or 76,000, that just brings it to net. The next year, based on that record, that's another 150 to go. You add the two together, that's $250,000. And if you look at the record, they'll continue require that level of funding year in, year out of Ratepayers Fund. And that's what I'm trying to do, to go, well, we better find a venue that is viable. Well, vote no. It's only a motion that I'm putting in and kill it off. Councillor Forster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question through you to Councillor Critchlow, just so I can get a firmer grasp on her view here. My question to her through you, Mr. Mayor, is Councillor Critchlow of the view that the best location for the Gold Coast show is in fact at the Turf Club? I just want to cut through the clutter and get to the bottom line.
Okay, Councillor Critchlow, there's a question for you.
I'm not saying that, Mr. Mayor. What I'm saying is that we should be looking at this as a whole. We should be looking at the Turf Club and the Borrow Pit and the Show Society and Train Tech and how much of, like, it's 2.7 hectares. If that there's going to be no show there, there is no need for parking. So how much of that 2.7 hectares become a commercial venture when you, Mr. Mayor, would believe we've got to get money in from sales of assets and that, and by selling Bruce Bishop Car Park, you're basically giving 2.7 hectares of land, which probably worth $12 million, to the Turf Club to extend
no, Councillor Critchlow, there's no gift of Councillor Critchlow. There's no gift of any property to the Turf Club.
Pardon?
I don't recall there's a motion that we're giving $12 million worth of property to the Turf Club.
We have agreed to the filling in of the lake, and we have
Councillor Critchlow, we did not give any property. That's incorrect, and it's also incorrect when you said at the last meeting that the Turf Club wants to take over the show. So
I've got it in writing.
Well, I'm telling you, I got it from the CEO and the chairman, and they do not want it. So I cannot take falsehood from you.
Mr. Mayor, do we have an application that's been sitting in this council from Train Tech to extend Train Tech into that Borrow Pit land and ask council to extend the lease
Take that
for
question
50
on notice.
years?
Take that question on notice.
No, I think it's important that we...
I just told you. I'll take the question on notice. Councillor Critchlow, take your seat.
Well, you're aware of this
Take your seat, Councillor. Rightio. Now, just bear with me. Councillor Critchlow.
Just a quick question, Mr. Mayor. You mentioned that you don't really want to see the ratepayers paying $150,000 a year out. But how much rent do we get from Train Tech? How much rent do the ratepayers get from Train Tech on an annual basis? Is it $170,000?
But how is that related? What I'm getting at is, whatever rent you get, that's good revenue. So, and how you spend your money, how you earn your revenue, and how you spend is two different questions. Just because let's say they gave us $500,000 even, you still wouldn't want to spend $150,000 on something that's not viable.
No, but the question was, how much rent are we getting from Train Tech?
Well, the answer is it's not relevant. It can be 200,000. It can be 150,000. You still don't want to spend ratepayers' fund for something that's not on. It's not going to be viable or ongoing expenditure.
And is there an application in to reduce that rent for Train Tech?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't accept the question.
You can't answer.
No, I didn't accept it. All right. Right.